Wishes? No. Resuming debate. The honourable member for Foothills.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be splitting my time three ways. Through you, Chair, does the minister know what Bill C-50 is?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Bill C-50 is the Sustainable Jobs Act.
Honourable member.
How many energy jobs will be lost as a result of the just transition?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Sustainable Jobs Program will create good-paying Canadian jobs, not kill them. Workers,
the honourable member.
How many jobs in agriculture will be lost as a result of the just transition?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I said, the Sustainable Jobs Act will create good-paying Canadian jobs, not kill them.
The honourable member.
How many jobs in the construction industry will be lost as a result of the just transition?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, the assertion the member is making is incorrect. The Sustainable Jobs Program.
The honourable member.
Well, that's interesting, Chair, because according to a memo from his own department, the minister has said the just transition will cost 200,000 jobs in energy, 290,000 jobs in agriculture, and 1.4 million construction jobs. That is from his own ministry. That's 2.7 million jobs in Canada will be lost to the just transition. Minister, what does the minister support a bill that is threatening 13.5% of Canada's workforce?
Hear, hear.
Honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, what this government is doing is focusing on getting this economy going again, retooling it, rebuilding it. We are focused on getting the One Canadian Economy Act. When we build these projects of national interest, it will put hundreds of thousands of Canadians to work, do good jobs, good pay.
The honourable member.
Will the minister repeal Bill C-50 knowing it will cost 2.7 million Canadian jobs?
Honourable minister.
What this government will do is pass the One Canadian Economy Act, which will grow our economy, create jobs.
The honourable member.
Some of our most important allies came to Canada to sign LNG agreements, but this government, Liberals, said no. Can the minister tell me who Germany signed an LNG agreement with?
Yes.
Honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is a new government with a new plan. We are proposing that we work on the One Canadian Economy Act.
We do have a point of order. The member for Oakville West.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I cannot hear, Minister, what he's saying. If there's a question on the floor, I would like to hear the answer.
Order.
Please respect. Thank you.
Order. We will have a little order. The minister has a couple seconds.
Thank you. I just pointed out I have a hearing issue, so if you'd like to pick on my ear, please go ahead.
Telling her to use it.
Mr. Speaker, I've forgotten the question.
The honourable member.
I can answer it for him. Qatar. Who did Japan sign an LNG agreement with?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, this government is focused on passing the One Canadian Economy Act. That will help us grow our LNG.
The honourable member.
Again, the answer is Japan if the minister can't answer those questions.
Shocking.
What would have been the revenue to the Canadian federal government had they signed those LNG agreements with Germany, Japan, Greece, and Poland?
Good question.
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, this government is focused on moving forward, not backwards. This new government is proposing, with the support of all of the premiers, to pass the One Canadian Economy Act. That will have us.
The honourable member.
What would have been the revenue to the federal government had the Trudeau Liberals signed those LNG agreements with our most trusted allies, Germany, Japan, Poland, and Greece?
The honourable minister.
So, Mr. Speaker, the member seems to be implying that by coming up with these sorts of numbers, it affects your ability to get projects done. I'd like to let the member know I have built major projects throughout my career.
The honourable member. Order. Order.
The LNG agreement between Japan and the United States is 5.5 million cubic feet of LNG every single year. What is the value of that to Canadian dollars had Canada had that agreement?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, I believe yesterday the value of natural gas closed on AECO at $1.01. Obviously, that's not how these projects work. They have long-term contracts. They're set with suppliers. But we're focused on. The
honourable member.
So Japan has signed a long-term agreement with LNG with the United States, our #1 competitor. What would the value of that been to Canadian taxpayers and revenue to the federal government had that agreement been signed with Canada?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, he can do the math. If he wants to tell me the amount of product that is sold at the long-term contract, we can figure that out. We are not focused on going back.
The honourable member, final question.
He should be focused on this because this is lost jobs and revenue for Canadians because of their ideological position on Canadian LNG. Does the minister believe to reach consensus, any province, territory or group has a veto on a national infrastructure project?
Well, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, what we believe is that the Prime Minister and the Premiers got together in Saskatoon with a shared vision. What the Prime Minister has said is consensus is better than not having consensus. We will pass the One Canadian Economy Act. We will get consensus.
Order. The time has expired for that section. Resuming debate, the honourable member for Kenora-Kiiwetinoong.
Mr. Chair, mining is critical to our economic independence, yet the Liberals have continually put up roadblocks every step of the way to development. Mr. Chair, how long does it take to approve a mine in Canada today?
Under the One Canadian Economy Act, the intention is that all of the federal permits will be delivered within 2 years or less.
The honourable member.
Mr. Chair, how long does it take to approve a mine in Canada today?
Minister. Order. If we need to pause for a second, we'll pause for just a moment.
There, so can we just...
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, today it takes far too long. I think we've all admitted that. What the One Canada Act will do is speed things up dramatically. If that's what the members want, they should support us in
The honourable member.
Mr. Speaker, the Mining Association of Canada states that it takes up to 15 years for a mine to be approved in Canada today. The minister says that is too long. I agree. There are 42 projects, Mr. Chair, that are awaiting approval through the current impact assessment process. Why not start with approving those projects?
Well, Minister.
Speaker, over the last several weeks, I have been meeting with many of the CEOs of the largest mining companies in Canada. They are very supportive of the One Canadian Economy Act. They think it's how we will move forward. If you would like to see things move forward, please support us in passing the bill.
Honourable member.
The Northern Road Link, Mr. Chair, is proposed by Martin Falls and Webequie First Nation. It has been under assessment for 2 years. And as I mentioned, during this lost Liberal decade, projects have been stalled through this impact assessment process. On what date will the Northern Road Link project be approved?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, if they help us get the One Canadian Economy Act, all projects, we are working with local provincial governments. The goal is to have one project, one review, and all reviews will be done within 2 years or less.
The order. The honourable member.
The Crawford Nickel project is located north of Timmins. It's been under assessment for 3 years. On what date will that project be approved?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, as soon as we get the One Canadian Economy Act done, we will, and we get the agreements negotiated with the province of Ontario, we will get them done as quickly as possible.
Member. The honourable member.
Gold project northeast of Red Lake has been under assessment for 7 years. On what date will that project be approved?
Well, Minister.
Speaker, this history lesson is wonderful. What we're focused on is moving forward. If we move forward by passing the One Canadian Economy Act, we will get things done in 2 years or less.
The honourable member.
Mr. Chair, the minister is embarrassed about the history of his Liberal government that's been in power for the last 10 years. It has created economic uncertainty and investment uncertainty for major projects across this country. Does the minister agree that the current impact assessment process is unnecessarily delaying the approvals process for major resource projects?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, the new Prime Minister has been clear. The current process takes far too long. That is why we are proposing the One Canadian Economy Act to speed things up. We have committed to get approvals done within 2 years or less.
Member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Does the minister realize that the Liberal government has been in power for the last 10 years?
Well, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, what I understand is there's a new Prime Minister and their leaders doesn't seem to be here anymore.
Member.
Mr. Speaker, the minister has previously said that there is no investment certainty in Canada. Does he realize that it is the policies of 10 years of Liberal incompetence that have led to this fact here in Canada?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, under this new Liberal government, we have committed to getting approvals done within 2 years. That will provide the certainty to have proponents commit capital to get projects done. They should be supporting this bill if that's what they're...
The Honourable Member.
Mr. Speaker, the minister and this government is making a lot of big promises about getting major projects built, but it is laughable after their record of 10 years. Mr. Speaker, I went through some very specific projects across Northern Ontario that will support jobs, support our growth, and support our economic independence, and the government has neglected those for years. I'd like to ask a question about forestry as well. The previous Conservative government got a softwood lumber deal done in 80 days, Mr. Chair, but the Liberals have allowed this dispute to persist. What specific actions has this minister taken himself to eliminate these unjustified softwood lumber tariffs?
Mr. Speaker, the member seems to be quite confused. We didn't launch the trade war on the softwood lumber industry. The Americans have launched 5 trade wars over the last 10 years.
Order.
Thank you, I'm sitting right next to the minister, and I'm not even able to hear him.
I thank the member for the intervention. We will have a little order here, or else we'll be taking a lot more time than we need here. The Honourable Minister in a couple seconds.
The Americans have put 5 unjust trade wars against the forestry industry. We've been working hard to do it. Minister Joly and the Minister of Industry and the...
Order. That time has expired. We'll just remind members to use their... is there a point of order?
We need to act like adults. You need to act like adults, please.
We will move on. The Honourable Member for Terranova Peninsulas.
Mr. Chair, can this minister guess which province has the highest GDP dependence on oil and gas?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think he's suggesting that it's Newfoundland and Labrador.
The Honourable Member.
Yes, sir. Second to Alberta. Does this minister know the annual royalties of Newfoundland offshore oil and gas?
The Honourable Minister.
They're in, Mr. Speaker, they're in the main estimates. It's a pass-through. It changes each year based on the value. I can get you the number for this past year. And
the Honourable Member.
Roughly $1.5 billion each year, 15% of our budget. Does this minister know how many oil rigs are in offshore Newfoundland?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not interested in the past. I'm interested in the future. When we get this bill passed, we will have more rigs working in the offshore, and we will make Newfoundland.
The Honourable Member.
I'm glad to hear they're looking at the future, and so am I. Does this minister know how many jobs are created when an oil rig is built in Newfoundland?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I assume that depends on the size of the rig. It depends. Each rig is... Look, I've worked in the oil and gas industry. Every rig is different, Mr. Speaker. This is a silly question.
Member.
Should be over 5,000 jobs per oil rig, sometimes up to 7,500, 5,000 up to 7,500, depending on how big it is. Now, will this go...
Order on both sides. Order on both sides. The Honourable Member.
Now, why did this government allow the top sides of the Westway Rose Extension Project to be built in the USA rather than Newfoundland, more specifically the Burin Peninsula and the Bull Arm fabrication site?
Sure.
Mr. Speaker, this government has been very clear. It will work hard to, under our One Canadian Economy Act, bring more jobs to Canadian steel, Canadian aluminum. That is the intention of this government.
The Honourable Member.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So will this minister commit that the next offshore project will be constructed in Newfoundland?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, The member seems to be confused. Governments don't build offshore projects. Private sector proponents do. When we pass the One Canadian Economy Act, we will facilitate the private sector to.
The honourable member.
So I don't expect many jobs because is it true that there were no bids placed in offshore exploration lease in over 2 years?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know the answer to that question.
Honourable member.
Is it true that there were numerous companies considering exploration, but once C-49 was tabled, they pulled up their anchors and pulled out?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, what is true is that when we pass the One Canadian Economy Act, we will bring certainty back to this process, and we will make it possible for more drilling to happen in the offshore of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Well, how does this minister plan to entice investors when even the Liberal government of Newfoundland has major concerns with Section 19, 61, and 62, which triples the timeline and adds Impact Assessment Act's already lengthy review?
Honourable minister.
Speaker, in Saskatoon, I was with the Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador, and they were quite supportive of the One Canadian Economy Act.
So how does this minister plan to attract these long-term investments with a 25-year cap on licenses in Bill C-49?
The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, projects of national interest will go through the One Canadian Economy Act. If they are in the national interest, they will get approved. We will build.
That's right.
Member.
So you mentioned my honourable colleague on the other side mentioned the future. So is it true that by 2050, 50% of our offshore will be a marine protected area?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I can't predict what the future offshore protected area will be, so I can't answer that question.
It's already been announced.
Well, it's been announced that by 2030 there'll be 30%, and with expectations of 2050 to 50%. Now, is it true that if an area is becoming a marine protected area, even in the future, the federal government has the power to terminate that lease?
Honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, the discussion around marine protected areas, I assumed happened 2 days ago at the discussion with the Minister of Environment. That question should have been asked there.
Question, the honourable member.
Mr. Chair, I think that this speaker should refer. I think that this honourable minister should refer to clause 28 of that, which do have reference to the 2050 powers, because I think this is a very powerful veto card that this government does not foresee that this sort of power will risk politicians.
Give the minister a brief opportunity to respond. The honourable minister.
Mr. Speaker, under the One Canadian Economy Act, we will get major projects built. We are interested in making Canada a conventional and renewable.
Order. The time's now expired for that section.